Greetings and welcome to my dear Pisces. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to my channel. Yes, I shall be doing a great mirror reading for you. It's a 9-card spread with clarifiers and challenges should appear. The great mirror is essentially a tool. It's an instrument that can be used for your higher good if you so choose for it to be. Take only what you will. These can be your story. They may not be. Really depends on the sort of quality of such a reading. Yeah. Please clear your mind if you will, and we shall get started straight away. Okay. I think you may be in a period of waiting for the time being, my dear. There's something about you that has a great deal of potential um, and patience in general, especially when it comes to the idealization or perhaps the fanaticism of love. Um, it seems to me that you're working hard, and working hard involves a number of things, especially it has to do with memory and how things are tethered together in terms of the constitution of a memory between two people. Perhaps there's something that you are delving between and you're trying to read between the lines, and you're finding a bit more of information there that has it's stored up a great deal of detail that tethers you back to this person in terms of the entanglement that you may find with them. Um, at the same time, they're ruminating about one memory in particular, one that has to do with the disinvolvement of commitments. So something here, disinvolvement or the saturation of promises, one great memory in particular that they may be ruminating on. Leading to a sense of abandonment on their end, or perhaps unfinished business. It really depends, but that's how they see it also. It takes away from this and also puts you in a state of feeling the Seven of Pentacles energy, which is interesting. So, let's see. Right. It has to do with a memory that is tied to the shadows of communication, or perhaps the shadows of interests that were infantile, or perhaps the flirtations of the external world as well. Here, it leading or contributing to a sense of unhealth when it comes to the connection between you two on an emotional level. It is challenged and perhaps left someone quite callous in a way. There's a callous quality to this Ace of Pentacles that is not so desirable, meaning that there's a rigidity or perhaps a pretense when it comes to their actual offers, or perhaps they were just in and out in some sort of way. I think you're ruminating on this and you're finding a bit more of the detail of what that may, sort of follow. We also have here you coming into a sense of power, and both of you being perceived through the energy of the Hanged Man as someone who is not entangled, okay? Both of you are essentially reflecting this energy, not being able to sort of reach out or perhaps truly expound on what has expanded in terms of the spiritual understanding of such a connection. This is a very deep connection that is based on practicality as well as detail within the third dimension and in the worldly matters, commitments, and affairs. But there's not a question about it that this actually is also a transcendent connection that is based on the great lessons of the martyr or the saint, or perhaps someone who has learned something and has been able to really see deeply into the interesting sort of human complexity of such connection. Now, on the subconscious realm here, there's the ability for you to take what you have learned and to move on. And the pentacles are strong here. They're playing out on the conscious level. Um, but in the mirror, it's very much about dematerialization, about sacrifice, about spirituality. And 12th house matters more about the end, or perhaps liberation through non-attachment. Here, there's something that you're pulling from what you have learned from this connection, which you've been criticizing for quite some time, as well as self-reflecting on. As you pull from it, there is an element that consciously you are going to sort of get into that energy of the Seven of Pentacles, which I've already mentioned on both ends. You could be dealing with a sense of this really didn't go very far at all, or this could have been a lot better than it is. But there's something here that is really teaching you a lesson on the element of non-attachment, as well as spiritual purity, as well as the great mystery of the end, and how things have to essentially come to some sort of culmination when it comes to the end. But as you pull, there's the future ahead of you, which is a very good thing to do. There's something about the Page of Pentacles is also a scholar, someone who studies, and someone who makes offers and communicates or promises onto a type of vocational path when it comes to whatever this reading has to do with in terms of your own particular circumstance. There's a commitment here, and the Page is usually good at being true and following through, regardless of how it's going to be taken from the external world or the future. As well here, on their end, there is a movement away with the Fool's energy into the major arcana. The Fool is here. The energy of Aries is here. It's major arcana, and also there is the 7 and the 10. Some great delusion of expectation here. Neptunian as can be, really, the Seven of Cups has to do with illusions and Maya, and the inability to see through binaries or different choices, options, modern love in general. As well, it crosses with the expectations of familial love, spiritual love, transcendent love, love of the romance that can never die. So it's an incredible sort of juxtaposition of a deep emotional content here that both makes you both delirious in terms of how far it can go romantically. But both of you are trying to sort of, like, with the seven of cups, I feel a ghostic energy here, perhaps an emotional fog. And through this emotional fog, there's a departure, and as such, it becomes a magical act, a magical trick of disappearing, which is quite intense because the expectations are quite heavy. And yeah, there also was the expectation of an actual beginning here that didn't come to fruition. If it did, there would have been a relapse, and you would have found a bit more grounding, as well as a bit more clarity within your own body, and you would be able to also find independence through the connection, which is very interesting. A lot of independent and a lot of water within the mirror, a lot of independent energy and a lot of water energy. Water is especially with the 7 and with the Hanged Man. The water element is quite mutable, and it can be fixed as well. It can be fixed water, which is more scorpionic, but I think it's more like the fog as opposed to the depths of Scorpio or the 8th house. So it's more 12th house Neptunian, right? So on the soul level, there's the element of the 3 of Rods on your end, some sort of forever waiting for the 4 of Rods here, waiting for that great timing in order to create a platform that would work properly. At the same time, there's this theme throughout cycles that go back to the beginning of time with this person. If you were a snail in a past life, you were forever waiting for springtime to come and for flowers to arise, or for sweet grass to arise, and this person could have been sweet grass for you at some time, but it never came. Something like that. Also here, there is a great need to walk the path of the Fool. It shows up twice here, as well as the Hermit is hidden in here with the 8 of Cups for them. So there's a retroactive sort of co-creation here that leads to the mystery of the connection, and it's very deeply spiritual, and between you two, there's some sort of truth that you can impart on this person. This truth can be subjective and it can be your own, or this communication can come out of a state of feeling like you can never reach out, or perhaps you're forever waiting. But as you stand by the example, you set the example of what true love could be, which is quite unconditional and quite from a state of stillness, right? Hopefully this helps. And as far as advice goes, the undercurrent was speaking of this being a block to, or like a prison of your mind when it comes to your actual things that you want to do. The advice is to not be trapped here, because there's a sense that you would, if you were to actually, if you were to actually like pull from your reserves right now, there would be a type of entrapment. So emotions need to be grounded, most definitely, and it's good that you're thinking practically as well. You're willing to learn from this, which is good. All right, thank you very much. Please take care now. Bye bye.